Abraham and Sarah were old and aged in years, and Sarah was beyond the age of childbearing woman. 1811 was past the way of woman. It's a literal Aramaic expression. And Sarah laughed in her heart and said, after being all worn out, I will become young again, but will my husband remain an old man? She was mocking, laughed in her mind. Yeah. And the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh and say, truly could I bear a child in my old age? Okay, so that 12. 1812, literal Aramaic idiomatic expression, and my master old, or her husband, remain old. Yeah. She'll grow younger like Benjamin Button, and he'll probably stay old. She's making a mockery, alright? 14 is that too great a feat for the Lord? Because anything's possible for the Lord, but not so for man. That she returned to you in the season revitalized, and a son is born to your wife Sarah? Alive. She's become alive because she's going to have a child. Okay? It's like she's going to get a new life, right? Bring forth a new life. And a son is born to your wife Sarah. And Sarah blasphemed. She took a whole lot of nonsense and said, I did not laugh. Well, she basically lied. I did not laugh. It is because I was scared. And he said, do not laugh henceforth. Okay. Okay, she did not mock. Probably. And the men got up from there and set their gaze upon Sodom, and Abraham went out with them to see them off. 1816, literal Aramaic idiomatic construction, looked upon the faces of Sodom, or towards that region, right? And the Lord said, how could I hide from my servant Abraham what I am about to do? How could he keep that from him, right? What he had planned. And Abraham is to be the progenitor of a great multitude, and through whom all the nations of the world shall be blessed. For I know him, he will order the sons and the daughters of his household after him to guard the ways of the Lord, to do justice and righteousness, because God commanded that of him anyway. Because what the Lord said regarding Abraham will be brought to fruition. Okay, it'll come to be, right? It will be fruitful. And the Lord said, the outrage of Sodom and Gomorrah has come to my attention, and their sins have sunk low. Literal Aramaic idiomatic expression, here entered before me. 822, literal Aramaic idiomatic figure of speech, well seeped. They were so evil in their deeds. I shall go see if the outrage that was brought to my attention is what they actually do, and if not, I will know. Okay, because he's heard about it. You think he'd know about it, but he's heard about it. He's going to go check it out to see if they're actually practicing mass evil. And the men turned back from there and went to Sodom, and Abraham was still standing before the Lord. And Abraham drew near and said, do you distinguish in your anger between the righteous and the sinner as you send them to oblivion, or to total annihilation, or make them perish? 1823, literal Aramaic idiomatic construction. With one anger do you oblivionate the righteous with the sinners. So basically, are you going to annihilate sent everyone there to oblivion, even those who are righteous, okay, the godly, along with the sinner. And I guess this is God replying, or the Master replying, the Lord replying, if there are 50 righteous individuals in a village, with the same wrath will you annihilate them, and will you not even spare the country for the sake of 50 righteous ones? That's Abraham asking God. Heaven forbid that you should resolve this by killing the righteous together with the unrighteous, and the righteous should be regarded as the unrighteous. Heaven forbid that the judge of the whole earth should perform such a judgment. 825. One literal Aramaic idiomatic expression. It's anathema for you to do that, right? Okay, anathema. You have to look up the word anathema, right? 1825 2. The indebted, those who are praise him, worship him, are thankful to him, why should they be destroyed with those unrighteous sinners? 1832, okay, it's further down. And the Lord said, if there can be found in Sodom 50 righteous individuals living in town, I will forgive all the country for their sake. And Abraham replied and said, behold, I have been allowed to speak before the Lord, and yet I am but dust and ashes. So he's realizing, I'm talking to the God, the Creator. I could get wiped out for arguing with him, but I've been given that opportunity. Sure, thank goodness I haven't been turned to dust and ashes. Okay, he was actually arguing with God. And if there are 5, or before God, and if there are 5 least righteous ones, then 50 will destroy the entire town because of the 5. And God said, no, I will not destroy it if I find there 45. And again Abraham added, saying to him, and if there are found 40, and he said, I will not destroy it if I find there 40. And he said, I hope I am not annoying the Lord if I ask again, and what of 30? And God said, or the Lord said, I will not destroy it if there are 30. And he said, look, I've been allowed to speak before the Lord, and I'm going to ask another question. What if there are found 20? And he said, I will not destroy it if I find 20. And he argues with him again. He says, but he says, let me not annoy you, Lord, if this one time, and what if there are 10? And he said, I will not destroy it if there are 10. And then the Lord went away as he concluded his conversation with Abraham. And Abraham returned to his country. He didn't get turned to dust or ashes after arguing with God. Right? Okay, what's this? Okay, 1832. And he said, let me not annoy you, Lord. Yeah, okay. If there are 10, possibly these last passages imply that Abraham was already senile. He was losing it, right? That's what it's indicating by the sounds of it. He was senile. Okay. Genesis 19, well, he was like 90 or something, wasn't he? Or 100 or something like that. Logic and common sense, you get a bit senile there in your old age. Genesis 19, and there came 2 angels, or 2 messengers, possibly angels of the Lord, to Sodom in the evening, and Lot's place was at the entrance to Sodom. Okay, so what's that, like the gateway? Yes, sitting at the gate. Okay. He was seated at the gate, or his position was at the gate, sitting at the gate. He was found sitting at the gate. And Lot saw them and went out to meet them on the road, and he fell on his face. Another one that trips over his sandals. No, it's just a customary thing, right? A tribute thing, right? Honorary thing. And he fell on his face and worshipped them. Well, he gave them praises. He didn't say, well, you are God, worship you like God. Just paid them respects, right? And he said, I beg you, my lords, head for the house of your servant, and I will accommodate you and wash your feet, and tomorrow you can be on your way. And they said, no, to these 2 angels, these messengers, no, we will stay at the inn. 19.2, literal Aramaic idiomatic expression, in the marketplace or on the street. Okay. And Lot insisted that they stay with him, so they came and entered his house, and he brought them wine, baked bread for them in the earthen oven, and they ate. Okay, he pressed them well, right? He insisted, and then he made them refreshments. Okay, gave them food and drink, and they had not fallen asleep before the townsmen, the people of Sodom, had already encircled the house. Okay, they didn't even get to have a nanny nap. Okay, when these people of Sodom with their pitchforks and burning torches, etc., had already encircled the house from the young to the old, and all the people of their ilk. What's that like? Ilk. Strange word. People of their likeness, probably something like that. Heard that word before somewhere. And they called out to Lot. People liked him probably. Or their supporters, something like that. And they called out to Lot and told him, "Where are those men who came to you in the night? Bring them out, let us get to know them." And by this they mean intercourse-wise. Not, mate, how you doing, mate? You know, that sort of thing. I'd like to get to know you, mate. You look like a good bloke. No, they had a different idea. And Lot went out the door to them, and those inside closed the door behind him. And Lot told them, "Do not let it bother you, brethren. Behold, or look, take note, I have 2 children that have not known a man, or virgins. I will let them go out to meet you, and so you can do to them what is proper in your eyes. Only do not do anything to these men, because they have entered under the shelter of my abode." So he's basically offering his 2 children, probably like legal. I don't know. They have different customers in those days. They're kind of weird. Maybe they were young, whatever, or maybe they were older, right? Okay, you can have them. Basically, do what you will with them. You know, he's basically saying, "I hand them over, and you can do this and that to them." Okay, the unimaginable. It's all good. Just don't do it to these men, right? Because they're living in my house, or they're in my house. And they screamed, "Move aside!" And they said, "You are the one who settled among us, and behold, look, you dare judge us? Get the hell out of here." Okay? Get the hell out of here. So number 9, verse 9. Yeah, out to one side. Get out of our way, sort of thing. Okay? That's basically what they're saying. Yeah, let us get to know them intimately. That's what they were saying. Okay. Yeah, so they said, "Get out of the way." And they said, "You are the one who settled blah blah blah." And Lot wrestled with the men fiercely. Okay, because they're going to treat him worse than they would them, the 2 men inside. And Lot wrestled with the men fiercely, and they nearly broke down the door. And the men inside extended their hands and pulled Lot back into the house, and they secured the door. And the men outside the house were blinded by the light rays from the small to the great, and they were no longer able to find the door. Okay, so these angels' rays came out of their eyes or something, with their hands, and they blinded these men of Sodom, these people of Sodom, right? And the men said to Lot, "Hey, why'd you do this? Your sons-in-laws, your daughters, and everyone you have in this house, take them out of this country." Oh, okay, that's the 2 angels, right? Okay, while these people were stumbling around trying to find the door, blinded. Okay, so the angel says, "Why did you do this? Your sons-in-laws, your daughters, and everyone you have in the house, take them out of this country." Yeah, why did they even bother trying to fight them off at the doorway? "Because we are going to destroy this country, for their outrage has risen before the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy them." Yeah, their sins have heaped up, right? Yeah, piled up, and God is going to send them to oblivion. And Lot went out and spoke with his sons-in-law, who had married his daughters, and he told them, "Get up." So these 2 daughters had husbands, they were his sons-in-laws, and he told them, "Get up and leave this country, because the Lord will destroy it." But in the eyes of his sons-in-laws, it seemed like he was humouring them, so they didn't take him seriously. Okay, so now we know the reason why, and we'll what these daughters did later with Lot. Now we know why. Okay, look at that in a minute. And as the dawn ascended over the horizon, the angels pressed Lot and told him, and they just prompted him, Get up and fetch your wife and your 2 daughters that you can find, lest they are swallowed up in the sins of the town. They'll come under the wrath of God and be destroyed, perish. Lot finally relented. He said, yeah, okay, and did as he was told. And the angels took him by the hand, and his wife by her hand, and his 2 daughters by their hands, because these angels had a lot of hands, because the Lord had spared them. And they got him out and settled him outside of the town. And as they took them up, they said, save your soul and do not look back, worrying about not having gotten everything out. Okay, not leaving with everything, I suppose. What's that? 17. Okay. Rise with all that exists. Okay. Rise with all that exists. Okay, probably, I'm not too sure on that one. Rise with all that exists. Save your soul and do not look back, worrying about not having gotten everything out. Like saving those 2 son-in-laws, possibly. Go to the mountains so that you will not perish. And Lot said to them, I pray, my lords, behold or look, take note, your servant has found mercy in your eyes, and much is the grace that ye have shed on me to save my soul, but I cannot make it to the mountain, and if evil should overtake me, I will surely die. Literal Aramaic idiomatic expression, great is the mercy you did with me. 19:2. Literal Aramaic idiomatic expression, I cannot exit to the mountains. 19:3. Figure of speech, evil recalls me. Okay. Save your soul, do not look back, worrying about not having gotten everything out. Go to the mountains so that you will not perish. And Lot said to them, I pray, my lords, behold, look, your servant has found mercy in your eyes. Great, and much is the grace that you have shed on me, the mercy, etc., to save my soul, but I cannot make it to the mountain. And if evil shall overtake me, I will surely die. Okay, if evil recalls me, my soul will live there. Okay, 19:21. Behold, this town is near. Or take note, this other town is near, so let me flee there. Behold, it is a small thing, my life will be spared there. And he'd live there, right? And he told him, behold, for your sake, this angel, messenger, told him, behold, or look, for your sake, I will also grant you this favour, that this town you spoke of will not be visited. Quickly go out there, because I cannot do anything until you enter it. That is why the name of the town is called Zoar. The sun rose over the earth, and Lot headed for Zoar. Okay, here it's got 19:21. Literal Aramaic idiomatic figure of speech, on your faces. 21:22. Figure of speech, reply. Okay, I will also grant you this reply as a favour. Okay. 19:22. Quickly go out there, because I cannot do anything until you enter it. That's why the name of the town is called Zoar. Oath. Okay, he made a declaration, a promise that that town that he is headed to, Zoar, wouldn't be destroyed, and he could live there. And the Lord brought down the fire and brimstone upon Sodom and Gomorrah from before the presence of the Lord in heaven. And the fire lashed out at those cities and all their surrounding areas, and all those who inhabited the land and lived off of the land. And Lot's wife turned around, looked behind her, and turned into a figure of salt. That's been claimed, maybe Ron White or someone like that. Somebody on a YouTube video, whatever, says, oh, look. Somebody had filmed it. Look, there's the figure. There's the figure of salt. Okay, up on that mountain there, on that edge there. Okay, whether that's true or not. The actual wife turned into a pillar of salt. And in the morning Abraham set off to the land where he had stood before the Lord. Little Aramaic idiomatic figure of speaks a country. And he gazed upon the face of Sodom and the face of Gomorrah and the face of all the surrounding countryside, and behold, he saw the smoke rising above the land like the smoke of the fiery pit of an abyss, right? And behold, and he noticed as God destroyed the cities of wilderness, and God recalled Abraham and sent Lot out of the deluge of fire as he poured down the fire on the towns that Lot had inhabited. Okay, so he gets them out of there, Abraham and Lot, out of that sudden mass amount of fire coming down upon those cities that they once inhabited. Lot had inhabited. So Lot went up from Zoar and settled in the mountains, he together with his 2 daughters with him, because he felt the suspicion of the inhabitants there, and thus he settled in the outlying area, he and his 2 daughters. Okay, footnote there, suspicion. The submission to. He felt the submission of the inhabitants here. Something he didn't like there. He was suspicious, or they were suspect. If he submitted to them, yeah, okay, something didn't feel right. They didn't trust him, or they were suspicious of him, or something like that. So he and his daughters went to an outlying area, all alone, no men there, no males. And the eldest of the daughters, said to the younger one, "Oh, look, our father is getting old, and there are no men in the land." That's the land that they were occupying, on the outlying area. There's no men in the land, so that we may go to them, marry them, sleep with them, etc., according to the way of the world. 1931, literal Aramaic idiomatic expression, the way of all the earth. It's what the common world does, right? Okay. So that we may go to them, mate with them, okay, like everybody else does. Yeah. Basically sleep with guys, by the sounds of it. 32. Come, let us get our father drunk with wine and sleep with him and raise offspring from our father. Well, that's incest there, isn't it? And they serve, well, that's a form of rape, right? The father was drunk with wine and they slept with him and raised offspring to plan to get children through their father, right? And they served their father wine in the night until he got drunk, he passed out, and the elder went in and slept with her father, and he did not know of her sleeping with him and her getting up. Okay, her sleeping and her rising, right? After that, right? And they both got their father drunk that night. Also, the young one entered and slept with him, and he did not know he was sleeping with him and her getting up, right? He had no idea. Okay, so they wanted children from their father, descendants from their father, children from their father, right? And both daughters of Lot became pregnant and from their father. Okay, so that's an incestuous act there, not to his knowledge. Okay, and the elder gave birth to a son, and she named him Moab. He is the father of the Moabites to this day. In that era, didn't the Moabites get wiped out eventually? Okay. 1937, literal Aramaic idiomatic construction. He became the father of the Moabites to these days. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got wiped out. Yeah, because they're like evil, wicked nation or something like that. Okay, and the younger one, she too gave birth to a son, and she named him Ammon. He is the father of the Ammonites to this day. 1938, literal Aramaic idiomatic construction. He became the father of the Ammonites to this day. Not too sure if they got wiped out. Genesis 20. Abraham had taken off from there and moved to the southland and had settled as a result of his victory in Beth Gader. And so Abraham had lived in Gader, and Abraham had said regarding Sarah, she is my sister. Abimelech, the king of Gader, had sent for Sarah to be fetched, because she was pretty hot, right? And God had come to Abimelech in a dream and told him, behold, or take notice, wake up, you shall die for the sake of the wife you have fetched, because she is the wife of another man, right? Of another man. And Abimelech had not made her his bride yet, or his wife yet. Okay, he had not betrothed her, he had not married her, right? So Abimelech said, Lord, or God, do you kill the holy too? 24:2, literal Aramaic idiomatic expression. Do you kill a holy nation? For he is the one who said, she is my sister. Well, look, he's the one that said it. He said that she's his sister, right? Okay, it's not my fault. And it was her that said, he is my brother also, right? So they both played this game. They lied, right? They tricked him. It was with an honest heart and clean hands that I did this. He didn't know. He had no idea, right? And God told him in the dream, I too know that you did this with an honest heart, and it was I who decreed her celibacy, that you may not sin against me. That is why I did not allow you to betroth her or marry her. Now return the man's wife, for it is prophesied, and they shall pray over you, and if you do not return her, know this, that you shall die the final death, you two together with all yours, the entire nation, right? His children, his descendants, whatever, right? Probably that whole entire nation. And there arose Abimelech at dawn and called his servants, and he spoke all these words in their ears, and they relented in fear. Okay, they did his will, did what he said, right? In fear, because they didn't want to be wiped out. Everyone among them. And Abimelech called on Abraham and said to him, what did I do to you? How did I sin against you that you should accuse me and my kingdom of such sins, or many sins? You put me in an impossible situation. You perform the works that are impossible with me. Okay. You tried to trick me and make me do these works that I would not do. Okay. These transgressions or these sins that I would not do. Okay, you put him in a pickle. You put him in a dangerous position, right? Okay, led him to a dangerous position. He could have put himself in. Okay, and Abimelech said to Abraham, what is it that you saw that made you reply in this manner? And Abraham said, because I said, why is there no fear of God in this country? They will kill me for the sake of my wife. Besides, she is truly my sister, my father's daughter, but not my mother's. She became my wife. So what does that mean? Is that his half sister? Okay, because here he's saying, look, besides, she is truly my sister. And it's not in the sense of you have the same religion. Oh, that's my brother in the faith. Okay, he's stating there, making a statement. She is truly my sister, my father's daughter. Who was his father? Was it Terah? Okay, his father's daughter, but not my mother's. So that was to another wife. Okay, must be to another's wife, because it's not his mother's daughter, and she became his wife, or became my wife. Okay, hopefully you understand that and you realize what we've realized. And so it happened that when God sent me out from my father's house, I told her, do me the favor, whatever country we go, tell them I am your brother. Stated up here, because she is truly my sister. Okay, and this is a different kind of Eastern mindset. Someone out there that's a Mesopotamian, etc., explain it. We may have it wrong. We don't want to put it out there, something that's fabricated or totally wrong. We'd like your help with that, to understand that. Okay, some sort of custom in those days, it didn't matter. You know, you can do all this sort of stuff. We don't really understand that culture, so maybe you can help us out. Okay, and so it happened that when God sent me out from my father's house, I told her, do me this favor, whatever country we go to, tell them that I'm your brother, so they don't kill him, right? Abimelech fetched flocks and bulls, servants and maidens, and he gave them to Abraham, and he returned Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said to Abraham, behold, or look at this, the land before you, settle wherein appeals to your eyes. And to Sarah he said, behold, or look, take note, I give 1,000 pieces of gold into your hands. And again, take notice, I also give this to you for the sake of shutting up those who are with me, and your being scandalized. Yeah, gossipers, right? Then Abraham prayed on his knees before God, and God healed Abimelech, his wife, and all his maidens, and he was granted offspring, because the Lord had completely sealed all the wombs of the house of Abimelech on account of Sarah, the wife of Abraham. So part of that wrath, that curse, the woman's wombs were sealed, so they could never have descendants, sons and daughters. Okay, so 2016, literal Aramaic idiomatic expression, to hood the eyes. Okay, 2016. Okay, it's kind of a weird literal Aramaic idiomatic expression. Okay, we'll end that there and carry on with Genesis 21 to 24 in the next video.